Hey YouTube, this is Steve from IDP Plus, and we are here to help you guys out with your waivers for week 12 of the NFL season. We are talking defensive players. I'm going to go across defensive tackle, edge, of course, linebacker, and defensive back to help you guys out. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go to our website at idpplus.com. Check out my article. I've got even more players here than what I'm talking about. I've got 5 players in this list, but I've got even more on the website. So make sure you guys go there. And of course, when you're there, make sure you guys use code word props when you check out on any of the subscriptions. You get 20% off to give you even more access to some great articles we've got. And of course, access to our Discord to get any type of lineup questions, trade questions, dynasty questions, anything you guys can really think of in fantasy, we are there to help you guys out. So we're going to jump again. 5 players that I think you should consider grabbing for week 12 of the NFL season. Hopefully you guys are having a great season so far. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, so everything is so crucial. Your waivers are crucial if you're still doing trades, and of course trying to figure out those bye weeks that are going on week in and week out. So the first player I'm going to mention is going to be, as far as the defensive tackle, I've got Kobie Turner as a great defensive tackle to consider grabbing for the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have really found a really good replacement of Aaron Donald. Look, he's not Aaron Donald, but Turner has done a really good job as of recently. And realistically, for the defensive tackle position, he kind of sets the tone, and he's done a great job for this Rams team. Right now, he's averaging about 7.5 points a game. Again, depending on how your scoring is going to be. And in the last 3 games alone, just so you're aware, he is averaging 11 points a game. He's had a total of 19 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and even a fumble recovery. So depending on how your scoring is going to be, this might change a little bit as far as the exact points, but he's been fantastic the last few weeks, and he's definitely worth grabbing. He's somebody that I feel has consistently been out there on waivers. I've kind of mentioned him before a few times this season, and yet he still tends to be there, so I would go after him this week. Now, jumping into the defensive end side, I've got one of my favorite players right now that I've mentioned even before, is Calijah Kancey for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they're coming off of a bye week, so I understand why you probably haven't grabbed him yet, but he's still available in a lot of leagues. He has been fantastic, and he's got a great matchup going against the New York Giants, who now are going to go against Tommy DeVito instead of Daniel Jones, and it's still a very porous and horrible offensive line. So Kancey's in a great position to have some success and continue where he's been at. Right now, he's been averaging 8.4 points a game this season. Again, this is coming off of obviously a sort of beginning of a season where he had some injuries, missed some time, but right now he's been averaging 8.4 points a game. And right now he's had 3 sacks in the last 2 games. So he's gotten, obviously, been able to make pressure. And just matchup wise alone, just this week should obviously give you some, really in a big position to have some success. I think right now the Bucs are in a position where I think Kancey could end up being the star for this defensive line. I know he's done obviously fantastic. I know he's missed some time, but the fact that he's still out there is kind of surprising. You should grab him. Now, in the linebacker spot, I've got 2 players I'm going to mention. I'm going to give you a 2-piece. So the first player I'm going to mention is going to be Tuipulotu, okay, for the Chargers. The second-year player has been fantastic. If you look at his stats the last few weeks, has been off the charts, and yet for whatever reason, he's just out there in waivers. Not sure why people are not grabbing him, and it's kind of shocking. In the last 3 games, he's got a total of 14 tackles, 7 sacks in those 3 games, which is phenomenal, 10 quarterback hits as well. 7 sacks is going to be the different piece. Like his snap count has consistently increased. He's about the 84 to 85% range. He's opposite of Khalil Mack. He's kind of taken over Joey Bosa's role. Like right now, Bosa has not been as relevant for the Chargers, where Tuli's been amazing. Like he's been fantastic, and he's really taking advantage of it. In this stretch right now, he's averaging 13 points a game, and yet he's just out there in waivers. He's right now linebacker, putting him as linebacker 5 in the last few weeks. Yep, he's out there. So again, make sure you guys start looking at this. Don't just rely on obviously what you're used to as far as player names. Start looking deeper into these stats, and hopefully this video is kind of helping you guys out. Another linebacker I like is going to be Jack Campbell for the Detroit Lions. Campbell's actually not a amazing statistical linebacker where you're like, man, this guy is going to be really standing out, but he's been very consistent when it comes to tackles. And at this point, with Anzalone out with some time, Jack Campbell is going to be kind of their anchor when it comes to this defensive side. And the Lions have been doing fantastic defensively. They've gotten a lot better than where they were at the beginning of the season. And Jack Campbell's kind of a big piece of that. You got to give him credit. Right now, he's got in the last 5 games a total of 43 tackles. He's got even 2 sacks, which is great as far as his position goes. He's not necessarily known as a blitzing linebacker or a linebacker coming off the edge. He kind of sets the tone for this defensive team. Kind of sets the tone for the Detroit Lions in their aggressiveness. And again, like I mentioned, with Anzalone being out at least the regular season, Campbell's getting a great position to have some success and should be able to continue that going forward.
Well, I was looking for a prize for my new league, a belt or a ring or a nice trophy. My IDP guys went and had my back. The best swag online for champs is found on Trophy Smack. RING, that spells ring. TrophySmack.com has the bling. Good, so good, I have to sing. Go and check them out, they have everything. I can show that I'm the master of my craft. I'm a champion in fantasy and I won't let you forget that. RING, that spells ring. TrophySmack.com has the bling.
Use promo code IDPGuys at checkout for a free ring on TrophySmack.com.
You that going forward. Now, the last player I'm going to mention is going to be a defensive back. I'm going to mention Jeremy Chinn. Now, I've mentioned Chinn earlier this year, and I'm continuing to mention Chinn. He is really starting to grasp this Dan Quinn defensive scheme. He's really done a great job. He kind of reminds me when Donovan Wilson was kind of that piece for the Dallas Cowboys when Dan Quinn was there, just kind of all over the place. He's in the box. He's obviously making plays in the back end. He's just all over the place. And Jeremy Chinn was kind of like that for Carolina. I loved him in Carolina, and he's had some ups and downs, which is why he's obviously in Washington, and he's in a really good spot now, and he's done fantastic. If you look at his stats the last few weeks, last week he had 12 tackles, over double digits. Right now, he's averaging 12 tackles in those 3 games in this nice little stretch that he's in. He's also averaging 13 points per game. So 12 tackles a game, 13 points a game. And yet he continues to be less than 10% owned in most leagues. So if you're looking for either a bye week filler, maybe just try and change up your lineup, get a little bit of a better edge, just looking to make some big changes right before the playoffs start, Jeremy Chinn is a great option. So those are my 5 players that I feel you guys should consider grabbing for week 12. And of course, if you guys want to see the bigger list, make sure you guys go to idpplus.com. I've got even more players, like I mentioned, there to give you even more access. Make sure you guys obviously hit that promo code props when you guys check out for that subscription. You get 20% off. If you guys do have questions for waivers, maybe you have trade questions, anything else, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to help you guys out as best as I can. And of course, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys just subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, stay tuned to all of our other great, amazing content, and I'll see you guys next time.
Watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.